Hey, it's Jack from Jack Gately Real Estate and the Online Real Estate Academy. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. That's right. And we're bringing you a video today because yesterday news broke that the judge has approved the settlement preliminarily in the Bombshell Commission lawsuit known as Sitzer-Burnett out of Kansas City. Of course, the second I start the live stream, the phone rings. That can wait. Because I'm making a video for you and you're more important right now. So we'll answer that call later. Anyways, if we bring up the article from Inman, let's start with that. Stitzer judge grants preliminary approval for NAR settlement. Judge Stephen Bough ruled that the sweeping changes NAR agreed to were fair, reasonable, and adequate, and set final approval hearing for November. Okay, so it seems like we have the judge, the plaintiffs, and the defendants, except for home services, all on the same page, all on the same page. Now, does that mean that because we've come to this point, does that mean that the Department of Justice is not going to intervene in this case? That if they were going to intervene, they would have done it before the judge granted this preliminary approval? Or does that mean that now that everyone is on the same page, does that now give the Department of Justice the green light to say, wait a second, we'd like to intervene here. We have something to say. So not being an attorney, too smart to go to law school, I'm just a plebe that has to try to understand the most obscure process in the world, right? This understanding the federal government legal process has been it's been an eye opener as part of making these videos, to say the least. There is nothing more obscure and less transparent. Is that the phrase? Opaque? Is that the word? Than the federal government court system. Nothing. Like, it's just yeah. So anyways, not being an expert, I'm just one of the plebes that have to live by it. This strikes me as either being super important because it means that the Department of Justice was like, no, we're good. Yeah, you go do what you want. Or does it mean that, no, now it's going to get hot, heavy, and serious with Department of Justice intervention? And I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know, when's the drop dead deadline for the Department of Justice to intervene? But my gut tells me that it's coming soon. And if we look at the timeline for the Nosalek MLS PIN case here in beautiful Massachusetts, which happened starting like last summer, we have some clues. Let's take a look at, and I have my notes here too. If you have an Inman account, you can search by topic here, and we're just going to go by their headlines because it just kind of makes it super easy. So on August 9th, they ran a story, Judge balks at unusual MLS settlement case. Let me bring that up on the page for you. Judge balks at unusual MLS PIN settlement in commission case. So the issue here was the judge actually said that she loves the new rules package. She loved the new rules package, but she had a problem with how the $3 million was going to be distributed. And right, only $3 million. So she kind of held the whole thing up. And that was in August of 2023. So flash forward a little bit. We go to, let's bring up the next search page here. September 14th. Here we go. MLS PIN settlement approved after overcoming judge's qualms. Oh, that seems like the exact spot where we are now in the Bombshell Commission lawsuit, doesn't it? Where the judge, the plaintiffs, and the defendants are all on the same page, and that would have been in mid-September of 2023. MLS PIN settlement approved after overcoming judge's qualms. Then, the next headline is October 3rd, MLS Commission settlement in jeopardy Remember that old song from the 80s? I'm in jeopardy, baby. How did that go? Amid new DOJ concerns. So once they all came to agreement in mid-September, about 2.5 weeks later, all of a sudden, out of the blue, the DOJ has concerns. And so this is what I'm saying, not being an expert, just being, somebody who can read the English language and look at a pattern, that once you get everybody agreed, then that's when the Department of Justice chimes in. So that's what happened about 2.5 weeks later or whatever. DOJ has concerns. Then, same day, actually, October 3rd, different headline, because this was kind of big news at the time. DOJ intervention puts MLS commission settlement on ice. It's almost as if you could see, I could almost write the next headline from Inman. It's going to go like this. DOJ intervention puts Stitzer commission settlement on ice, right? Like they're just, if it follows the same pattern, and who knows, right? I'm just saying, if it follows the same pattern, once the judge approves, the DOJ steps in. Then you had the very interesting, NAR is like, oh, we lost it, or we're about to lose. And so they changed the whole we can offer 0% thing. That was weeks before they actually lost the case in Kansas City. And then there was the trial in Kansas City. And when is the next big Nosalek MLS PIN? That would be in December. DOJ objects to second settlement in commission case. And we'll actually bring that story up. DOJ objects to second settlement in MLS commission case. So this is by Andrea B. Back in December. Not enough. That was the message from the Department of Justice to the federal court in Boston on Monday after the home seller plaintiffs and broker-owned MLS adjusted a proposed settlement to address the federal agency's lingering concerns. Attorney Jessica Leal informed Judge Patti Saris of the court that the agency had conferred. Well, this is interesting. With lawyers for the plaintiffs and the MLS PIN network in an attempt to address concerns that deal with the proposed commission rule, but might not have gone far enough. And the government was not satisfied. They asked until February 15th. They asked for an extension until February 15th to file a statement of interest in the case. So, now, we all know what happened on February 15th, which I don't know what they used all the time allotted. The Department of Justice asked for until February 15th, and they waited until February 15th. Work expands with the time allotted, right? Especially when you work for the government. And a lot of people, well, this is a very well-reasoned argument that they issued in their statement of interest on February 15th. Which was really inconvenient because I was on vacation in the free state of Florida. I had to interrupt my vacation to make a video about this that Friday in my cousin's driveway. Or was that the time I propped up the phone in the palm tree? I don't know. Anyways, that's when they issued it. So I think the way things are going with the bombshell commission case in Kansas City, the Sitzer-Burnett case, is things actually are going there a little bit more smoothly than in the MLS PIN case. Because in the MLS PIN case, you had this quibble about how the money was going to be distributed over the $3 million, because the plaintiffs were going to get like 37 cents or some crazy thing. And the lawyers were going to get the lawyers were trying to get all the money is what was going on there. Not that that's a factor in the Kansas City case. No. But I think it was the Kansas City case is a little smoother. So by my reading of this, when using the Nosalek MLS PIN case as a pattern, once the judge, the plaintiffs, and the defendants all say yes, we're good to go, preliminary approval, that's when the DOJ steps in. In that case, it was like 2.5 weeks. So you would think if the Department of Justice is going to intervene and express concerns that we would be basically on the doorstep of that happening. Now, unless, as I've stipulated in a video from Monday, I think, and several times before that, unless the politics of this are too overwhelming in an election year, not that the Department of Justice would ever consider politics in any legal decision. No, not at all. But there is great politics for the Biden administration to have the settlement go forward without any further DOJ intervention. So, I mean, there's a very reasonable political argument to be made that maybe they'll won't intervene because of the politics of it, because Biden can now go on the trail and say, we cracked down on that real estate cartel, right? He could make that argument and might be very, very important. I know that housing affordability is a huge issue nationwide. There was a poll here in Massachusetts which listed housing affordability as the second most important issue to Massachusetts citizens, immigration being the number one, or the migrant crisis, whatever you want to call it. But housing, affordable housing being the second most. And I think that's probably playing out in many places across the country, right? Interest rates, 7.4 now? That's another topic altogether. So the one thing that could kind of decapitate or cut off or whatever cliche you want to use, the Department of Justice's charge on this, led by Attorney Leal, I think is her name, would be the politics of it. But aside from the politics of it, remember, it has only been, 9 weeks since the Department of Justice issued that February 15th statement of interest in the Nosalek case. That was a very reasoned statement. Do you think that they're going to get off of that? That they're somehow convinced that they were wrong in 9 weeks? I don't think so, unless there's a political intervention involved. Okay, let's see. We also have a comment today, so thank you so much, Uber Realty. Don't forget the FTC's desire to end the independent contractor status for real estate agents. You know, that did flash as a news break yesterday. No, you know what the FTC decided yesterday, Uber Realty, was they made a rule against, how do I want to say this? What is the thing? What, you know, the thing, the exclusive contracts. What is that thing? Someone type it in for me. It's all over the news today. So, you know, the thing, when you can't work for another company unless you're a high level executive. Somebody type it in. Non-compete. Thank you so much. Right. The FTC issued a big ruling on non-compete yesterday, and I am not aware of their, you're saying their desire to end independent contractor status for real estate agents. So they haven't made a ruling on that. They've been busy apparently on the non-compete situation. And I was not aware that they also have a desire to end independent contractor status for real estate agents, but it wouldn't surprise me. There's a lot of government action out there to end independent work altogether. I know here in Massachusetts, for instance, and I think this has been the case in a couple of other states at least, that they want to end the independent work status of Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Instacart workers. That's going to be a ballot question here in Massachusetts. There's a lot of pressure to move gig workers, so to speak, over to the ranks of union employees. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that is a thing out there in the regulatory environment. My point in this video is, does the judge's preliminary approval of the settlement, does that mean that DOJ is not going to say anything? Or does that mean now is the time for DOJ to say something? That's my worldview, but I could be wrong. No expert, no lawyer. But in the meantime, you have a great week. Go make some money, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Thank you, Uber Realty, for bailing me out on the terminology, by the way. Thank you.